Nation.
SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first. Then you act.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation. We now bring in the Grand Poobah of SMD Law, the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Remember, when you need an attorney and when your next decision matters, you call them first and then you act. 866-529-3537, smdalaw.com and the old interwebs. Jeff Michalowski, the Grand Poobah, joins us, and I'm going to tell you right now, folks, he does not want to talk about your questions, and I don't blame him. Fatherhood rocks. Wait till you hear what happened to his son, the great Mitch. You know, we've heard about the great Bambino. Now we hear about the great Mitch. Tell us about it, Jeffrey.
It was great. It was opening weekend for Bigfoot Baseball. By the way, Bigfoot Baseball, MABF franchise with 4 teams. One of the better baseball teams in Macomb County that allows kids to also play other sports. Enough about me, but Mitchell, the tournament, it was great, Hondo. You should have seen this thing. So we were tied 6-6 going into the 5th inning, and the tournament games run only 6. Bottom of the 5th, he gets up to bat with 2 kids on and blasts a home run over left center field. We take the lead. We're up 9-7 now, and we go into the bottom of the 6th, big inning. First pitch she sees over center field. It just carried. This thing was just going, no doubt, right off the bat. So 2 3-run home runs in the same game.
Good for Mitchell. What a good kid, too, by the way. I'm glad he takes after Chris.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's where all the athletic ability comes from. Otherwise, he'd be sitting at a desk somewhere talking to some media guru out in Lansing.
Now, wait a minute, because you played college football. Don't cut yourself short.
Yeah, little college football, as I call it.
Okay. When you played college football, you played it, brother, and that's awesome. Hey, I wanted to ask you real quick before we get going. I know you had to be glued to the TV watching Tiger yesterday, weren't you, as a golfer?
I saw bits and pieces of it because we finished up the tournament indoors yesterday. So.
Oh, wow. You played indoor baseball?
They do indoor baseball in the big domes.
Oh, so where did they play at?
It was a complex out in Wixom, great city, that has 2 huge domes connected to an indoor sports facility. So.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So you ready for some interesting questions, to say the least?
Absolutely.
Okay, got the first one. They asked us not to use their name or city. You'll understand why in a moment. Dear Mr. Carpenter, would like to have you please ask a question of Mr. Michalowski. It's very important. We had a man come into our restaurant who, while very obvious he was homeless, he didn't stink or anything like that. We felt sympathy for him, and he asked if he could have a cup of warm water. We gave him a cup of coffee. He said it was too hot and burnt his throat and is now threatening to sue us. Does Mr. Michalowski think we actually need an attorney? We gave him a free cup of coffee and a Danish because he was a homeless man. We were trying to do a nice thing. I would have thought he would have known coffee was hot.
Well, I think this comes out of that whole McDonald's litany of cases. Coffee is hot. Would the reasonable person know it's hot? Is it so hot that it caused damages? Well, that would be one thing that the person would have to prove is actual damages. I mean, how do you, it's one of those sad cases. How does a homeless man prove damages if he's not going to go to a doctor and get things checked out? For now, I would just kind of be cautiously on alert, I think. If you get some papers served to you, I would tender them to your commercial lines insurance carrier and see who they direct you to. But I don't know if I would be so concerned, depending on the state and the jurisdiction. Of course, we'd have to prove damages to get anywhere in a lawsuit.
How sad. A business owner trying to do the right thing.
Oh, but that's the society we live in, Hondo. All those evil lawyers out there, right?
No, come on, Jeff. That's not fair. You know what? How many times have I told you people have complimented you on being a guy who will say, no, we're not taking your case. It's stupid.
Yep, that's the way the profession should be.
Remember, folks, when your next decision matters, you call them first and then you act. SMDAlaw.com, 866-529-3537. Next one comes to us from Jennifer. Jennifer says, Hondo, my son, recently I was a parent on a field trip and they went to the zoo. It was a great time. Everyone was having fun. I was taking pictures for all of the kids and all of the families. It was wonderful. We happened to take a picture of the kids at the monkey cages where the monkeys were behind them. There was a little girl who was there with them but not part of our school. The mother came at me wanting to see my camera to see if her daughter was in the picture. I told her, ma'am, I didn't even know your daughter was there. If she was in the picture, it was only off on the side. The mom threatened to sue me for taking her daughter's picture. Number one, if they're in a public place, I don't think I can get sued. Is that true? And number two, if you take your kids out in public and they happen to run through somebody or photobomb somebody, is it their job now to throw away what could be a family picture and you don't want to put it on the internet with your Facebook in case you'll get sued?
Well, good question. This all comes down to what we call reasonable expectation of privacy. So in public, at a public facility, a public event, do you have a reasonable expectation of privacy for your image not to be captured by somebody else? No, you don't. Now, if it was the complex, the zoo or the sporting arena, you see in all the what we call ticket licenses on the back of the ticket that your image may be used, and by purchasing this ticket, you consent to your image being used. But from a peer-to-peer position, no, she shouldn't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. You go to a zoo, you know that pictures are going to be taken.
All right. Next one comes to us, and you're going to find this one to be pretty funny. It's Alex, and Alex lives in South Lyons. Alex says, Dear Mr. Carpenter, I am 16, and I went for my first job interview. I did not get the job because I was late. The problem was Google Maps sent me to the wrong place. I was very angry because Google. My dad told me I should have used a map. I explained to him that it was Google Map. He laughed, said, and I informed him I think I should be able to sue Google because their map was wrong and cost me a job. My dad said, while laughing, I'd ask Jeff about that. Can you please have Jeff tell my dad I do have a case here?
What's my favorite response, Hondo?
No!
Yeah, geez, how can Google Maps be responsible for you arriving late? I don't think that's in the cards, so to speak. In Michigan, we're at what we call a at-will employment state, which means that you could be fired for any reason or no reason whatsoever. Very similar circumstance for a hiring process. The company could not hire you for any reason. Being late, whether it was the Google Map or anything else online or something else, I think the employer could probably say that being late is a reasonable reason not to hire someone. So no cause of action. Continue on.
All right, the next one comes to us from Keith and Vivian. Keith and Vivian live in... I'm looking here. Give me 1 second, please. Keith and Vivian live in... Well, I didn't know this was a city in Michigan. I know it's a high school. Orchard Lake. Do you know where Orchard Lake is?
Orchard Lake, yep.
Okay, I know Orchard Lake St. Mary's, but I didn't know that was a city. I thought it was a school. All right. They live in Orchard Lake. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I would love you to ask Jeff a question. I know he's an expert on elder law because he helped our neighbors who also heard him on Spartan Nation. My wife and I are 50 and 49 and in excellent health. Not smokers, not drinkers. We're not really sure that we need to even be looking at law for when we're older. When does Mr. Michalowski advise people to start looking at trusts or start looking at end-of-life issues? Again, 49 and 50, don't think it's a big one, but just curious when that should start.
Well, unfortunately, in the world of estate planning, you deal with the newlyweds and nearly deads, Hondo. That's kind of what the old bad joke is. I guess bad taste, bad joke. But at any rate, it's never too late, never the right time, never the wrong time. There are certain mechanisms you could put in regular estate planning that would allow us later down the line to engage in what we call elder law. And a lot of that comes down to putting the right clauses in your powers of attorney. Michigan law is very clear that unless the power of attorney says you can, you can't. In other words, that the power of attorneys, if they have the right clauses and language in them, your kids will be able to help and plan for you in the event you become disabled later in life. So I tell people, even if they did their estate planning, and it's been a while since they looked at it, come on in. We'll always take a look at it and do a free consultation, sit down and talk, and see what we can do to make whatever plan you did better. So Hondo, in summary, it's never too late, never too early, never the right time, never the wrong time. Just give us a call. We'll take a look at it. Free consultation, doesn't cost you anything.
And I've never heard the term before, newlywed and nearly dead. He's Jeff Michalowski from SMD Law, the grand poobah of the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. 866-529-3537, smdalaw.com on the web. We'll be back right after this on the Spartan Nation Radio Network.